It is a bit unfair to say that school is scam, but also on the flip side, it is also wrong to assume that just because you go to school, you end up being minted and successful and becoming a billionaire. Now, talking about billionaires, in trying to answer this question, I've spent some time looking at some scientific research and some evidence. So I really understand what's happening here. So I've looked at the top 20 under 40 self-made billionaires. Self-made. So I've weaved out, I've ruled out people who inherited wealth and things like that, people who worked their way into becoming billionaires. And of those 20 people I've looked at, 15 of them had at least a bachelor's degree. Only 5 dropped out of school at some point. And of those 5, I'll just take the 2 Collison brothers, Patrick and John Collison, the founders of Stripe, that software company, who eventually went on to become billionaires. They dropped out of MIT to invent the software. Now, that shows you that they were on a path of education or of schooling. And at some point, school got in the way of their invention or of their breakthrough. And the way I like to illustrate it is, so imagine that you have a cup and you're filling that cup with the skills, the knowledge, the things you need to become successful. Yes, schools set graduation dates and all of that. For some people, depending on how they get the information and how they get the things they would need to succeed, the mindset they need to succeed, that cup might fill up before graduation date. And so, provided that cup is being filled up, in my opinion, either from school or from other sources, once it gets to that point where school begins to come in the way of your breakthrough and of your progress, then fair game. It's okay to drop the whole schooling idea and pursue your dream. But that's not the case with a lot of the young people I've worked with and that I've helped parents to support. Also, I've looked at a few scientific studies. So there's this research by researchers from the University of York and Leeds, where they looked at a lot of young people and families, and they found a strong correlation between good GCSE grade and one outcome or life outcome or income in life. They also correlated it. There was a strong relationship between good GCSE results and happiness, the level of happiness. And interestingly, they found a correlation between a good GCSE result and behavior. So people with a good GCSE score on the average had less issues with aggression and things like that. I hope you found this helpful. Leave a comment below if you're actually struggling with your young person with this specific challenge, and I'll be able to give you specific tailored advice on how to deal with that. For now, subscribe, like, share.